This is Admiral Chen, retired, Terran Intelligence Division. What you are about to hear has been classified for 63 years. The events of Case File 247 represent both humanity's darkest chapter, and the moment the galaxy learned that some species should never be provoked. I was 24 years old when we discovered the truth. By the time I was 25, an entire civilization had ceased to exist. This is the story of the Vyrathi Dominion, and this is the story of how they earned their extinction. The first colony ship disappeared in 2112. The Meridian Hope, carrying 4,000 settlers to the Kepler 442 system. One day, they were transmitting routine updates. The next, silence. Search and rescue found nothing. No debris, no distress beacon, no bodies. The official report listed it as navigational anomaly, a polite way of saying we had no idea what happened. Then, the New Horizon vanished. 3,000 souls. Gone. Then the Pilgrim's Dawn. Then Settlement 14 on the frontier world of Acheron. Then the mining outpost on Titan's Rock. Over 40 years, 17 ships and 6 colonies went dark. The pattern was always the same. No warning, no evidence, no survivors. 2 million humans erased from existence. Some in Fleet Command suspected pirates. Others blamed unstable wormholes. A few whispered about first contact gone wrong. But the truth was far worse than anything we had imagined. In 2152, a Terran listening post on the edge of colonized space intercepted an anomalous transmission. The signal was using encryption protocols we had never encountered. It took our best cryptographers 8 months to crack it. I remember the day the translation came through. I was stationed at intelligence headquarters on Luna. My commanding officer called me into her office. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. She handed me the decoded transcript without a word. It was a logistics report. Shipping manifests, inventory lists. Written in an alien language, yes, but the content was unmistakable. They were cataloging humans: age, gender, physical condition, work capacity rating, breeding viability score. 2 million entries. 2 million humans. Sorted and cataloged like livestock. The Vyrathi Dominion had been harvesting us for 4 decades. We learned everything we could about them in the following weeks. The Vyrathi were an ancient species, older than most civilizations in the known galaxy. They had once been conquerors, expanding across 1,000 systems. But their empire had grown stagnant, decadent. Their population was declining, their genetic diversity collapsing. They needed fresh biological material. They needed slaves. They needed breeding stock. And they had found humanity. To the Vyrathi, we were perfect, hardy, adaptable, fertile, and, most importantly, isolated. Earth was on the edge of explored space, far from any species that might notice or care about a few missing colony ships. They called us the Quiet Harvest. They had been taking us for generations, careful to never take too many at once. Careful to leave no evidence. They thought they were clever. They thought we would never find out. They were wrong. The evidence was presented to the Federation Council on March 15, 2153. I was there. I watched the faces of admirals and senators as they reviewed the intelligence. Horror, disbelief, and then rage. The council chamber was silent for a long time after the presentation ended. Then Fleet Admiral Okonkwo stood. She was 70 years old, a veteran of 3 border conflicts. Her voice did not waver. We have 2 options: diplomacy or war. Senator Vasquez from the Mars delegation spoke first. Diplomacy? With slavers? With harvesters of children? The Vyrathi Dominion controls 47 systems, Admiral Okonkwo replied. They have a fleet 3 times the size of ours. A war would cost millions of lives. And how many lives have they already taken? Vasquez demanded. How many of our people are in their breeding pens right now? How many children have been born into chains? The debate lasted 6 hours. I watched humanity argue about mercy, about proportionality, about the ethics of total war. In the end, the vote was unanimous. Not for war. War implies 2 sides fighting. The Council voted for extinction. The Vyrathi believed they were safe. Their homeworld, Vyrath Prime, was protected by a planetary shield grid that had never been breached. Their fleet was vast. Their orbital defenses were legendary. They had never encountered kinetic bombardment. You see, most advanced species abandoned kinetic weapons centuries ago. Energy shields made them obsolete. Why fire a metal slug when a plasma beam could burn through anything? But energy shields work by dispersing energy. They absorb and redirect heat, radiation, electromagnetic force. They cannot stop mass. The Federation spent 6 months constructing the delivery system in secret. 200 tungsten rods, each one 30 meters long and 2 meters wide. We called them hammers. At 0.3% of light speed, a single hammer carries more destructive force than every nuclear weapon ever built on Earth. Combined, we built 200 of them. The first hammer struck Vyrath Prime on September 7th, 2153. At 0300 hours local time, it hit the planetary shield generator on the northern continent. The shield didn't fail. It simply ceased to exist, along with everything within a 400-kilometer radius. The second hammer hit the capital city. The third hit the military command center. The fourth, fifth, sixth, they struck every major population center on the planet. By the time the Vyrathi fleet mobilized to respond, there was nothing left to defend. I have watched the sensor recordings. I have seen a world die. The atmosphere ignited. The oceans boiled. The crust itself cracked and shifted. Vyrath Prime didn't just burn. It was sterilized. 8 billion Vyrathi lived on that world. None survived. We intercepted one final transmission from Vyrath Prime as the bombardment continued. It was from their supreme hierarch, broadcasting on all frequencies. Our translators worked on it for hours. The message was simple. Why? We only took the weak ones. We only took the ones you would not miss. Why do you destroy us for such a small thing? Fleet Admiral Okonkwo sent the response personally. You took our children. You took our families. You took 2 million souls and thought we would not notice. You thought we were prey. You were wrong. Let this be a lesson to every species in the galaxy. Humanity does not forgive. Humanity does not forget. And humanity does not leave its people behind. Your empire ends today. Your species ends today. And 1,000 years from now, when other civilizations ask, what happened to the Vyrathi Dominion? The answer will be simple. They touched humanity, and humanity touched back. The campaign lasted 3 months, 47 systems, every Vyrathi world, station, and outpost. We did not accept surrenders. We did not take prisoners. We did not negotiate. By December of 2153, the Vyrathi Dominion had been erased from the galaxy. Not defeated, not conquered, erased. Their cities were ash. Their ships were debris. Their people were a memory. We recovered 412,000 humans from their slave facilities, less than a quarter of those taken. The rest had died in captivity, worked to death, bred until their bodies gave out, discarded when they were no longer useful. 400,000 survivors. They told us stories that still wake me in the night, 60 years later. I am often asked if we went too far, if genocide was justified, even against slavers, if we became monsters in our pursuit of justice. I do not know. What I know is this. In the 70 years since the Vyrathi extinction, no species has attacked a human vessel. No species has raided a human colony. No species has taken a human prisoner. The galaxy learned something about humanity that year. We are not the most advanced species. We are not the most numerous. We are not the most ancient. But we are the most relentless, the most patient, and when provoked, the most merciless. The Vyrathi thought they found easy prey on the edge of known space. They found something else entirely. They found the species that will burn 1,000 worlds to bring one child home. They found humanity. This is Admiral Chen signing off. Case file 247 is now closed. May the Vyrathi serve as an eternal warning to any who would threaten our kind, and may God